and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is a chilly one out there this morning, but that's okay because it's warm here in the studio. It's always exceptionally warm here in this studio. Like exceptionally warm. Today I don't mind. Definitely not. But yes, we have some special guests here and we are so excited to talk with them. And first off, we have our good friend Rachel here from the Racoon Creek Market. So I don't mess that up. Yeah. And we're going to find out all about what you all have planned for the next upcoming market.
Yes.
So welcome. And I guess we have a message and then we'll be back in just a few minutes and find out all the skinny on this year's market.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
All right, and we are back, and we are always so excited to have our good friend Rachel here to talk about the market and Racoon Creek Market. Let's see, is this the third year?
This is our third year. Yep.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And of course, you have been doing this out at Buckeye Furnace.
Yep.
And such a beautiful and fun venue to have this thing. So I guess tell everybody, if they don't know about it, kind of how y'all got started doing this vendor fair, I guess. What do you call it? Is it a market, a vendor fair? All of it?
Yeah,
all of that.
all kind of the same. Well, it was Jan's idea. She's like, we need an anchor event in June because they have the fall festival in October.
Yes.
And I said, well, can we make it a vintage and makers market? And she's like, sure, you're in charge.
Why not?
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just had the idea.
Watch what you wish for. Sometimes it comes true, right?
So yeah, it is. It's a gorgeous place. To have it, and
unbelievable.
There's so much room, and the museum will be open, and you can tour the whole park at the same time.
Yes,
we started a kids activity last year, so
very fun.
Those of you who are bringing the kids, there's a scavenger hunt. And that was
keep them occupied while you shop.
Huge hit. There were kids running all over the place, and so trying to find, because the vendors all have a picture, and they have to find that picture. So, and then there's a little goodie bag, if they get it all. So
love that.
So we do have something for the kids,
of course,
as well, to keep them busy. But we've got vintage inspired, repurposed, handcrafted, between jewelry, lotion, soaps, candles, all sorts of other sort of crafts.
Baked goods. I mean,
baked goods. Oh, yeah, the sourdough girl. She's coming again. Casey, between her bread and her mom's scones.
I know. It's like a carb lover's dream, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So plants, both of our plant girls are coming in, indoor plants, outdoor plants. We had a crazy amount of, I opened up the applications on January 1st.
Which sounds kind of crazy because this thing isn't until June.
Right.
But
vendors have to plan.
Big. Yes.
Vendors have to plan because they're going here, they're going there.
There's all kind of places they could choose to go.
Exactly. So we want to make sure we get it open in time so that they get, we can get squeezed onto their calendar.
Of course.
So yes, we're also looking. So we're still looking for vendors. We have right now. I've got like over 20 applications.
Okay.
And that came in almost like the first day.
Okay.
25 applications. Half of them are previous vendors and half of them are new vendors. So I'm like super excited.
Fun.
I know we've got a gal, she's coming. She makes quilts. So she's coming.
Oh.
We've got a girl that does ceramics. We've got, I'll have better details when I come in June. But yeah, we've got a bunch of new vendors this year. So I'm like super excited that it's, getting out there and they're coming from farther away. Kind of giving us a bigger variety. So
Absolutely. And if somebody out there is listening and they were like, well, I have stuff I want to sell, are there rules and regulations? Where do they go to sign up? How does all of that work?
it is juried. So you have to apply.
Okay.
And you can go to buckeyefurnace.org and you can go to Racoon Creek Market, and then underneath that it'll say application. And this year we're trying an online application. So if you don't have a Facebook page, I will request photos being sent.
Okay.
Because it is
That's fair.
So we're kind of trying it out. Trying it out versus the last 2 years, it was just a PDF. So we're trying that this year. So that'll come through, and then, like I said, it's juried. You have to kind of fit in with what we do. Obviously, there's no,
you can't be obscene or
and there's no reselling. There's no, reselling like stuff off of Amazon or whatever.
Right.
It has to be handcrafted in some way.
Sure.
No direct sales either. And a 10 by 10 spot, we keep it cost effective, for everybody. So it's $35 for a 10 by 10.
Okay.
So, you can get a 10 by 20. We are also looking for food trucks this year. So,
okay.
Two of them seem to work out well. 2 food trucks. So seem to fit the bill. So
well, one of the questions, bounced around up here is, will or will not Jan be having some popcorn?
I can mention that.
Kettle corn, Jan. Kettle corn.
Hopefully she's watching. She blew her knee, so she's.
Oh no.
That's why she's not here today. So she's got to go to the doctor and get scheduled for knee surgery on the other one.
I guess.
So, otherwise she would be here today.
Yes.
So, but I will request that popcorn. I know
she has to have her popcorn.
I know she has not brought that machine out in quite a while.
Well, she's a slacker.
Big time.
Yes.
I'll let her off the hook right now because
if you're feeling under the weather, that's okay. Trust me, I understand about that. And so the great thing about the market is it's like a really fun, and again, this is not until June. So Rachel's here to talk about, how you sign up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that you can start to plan to get as a vendor or a food truck or whatever. But it's a day full of music.
Yep.
You said you already had that booked, right?
We've got all of our musicians booked already. We've got Andy Milliken and Oscar, because people come more. He's like, people come more for Oscar than they do for me. So we've got Andy Milliken, Ben Davis Jr. is coming back again this year. He was there last year.
Yes.
Steve Davis. And Morgan Washam is coming back this year.
I love that.
So he wasn't able to come last year because he already had vacation scheduled. So this year we have 4.
There they are.
Yep, there they are. All 4 of them are coming this year. So, yep, I'm excited. They are such fabulous guys. They're all so very nice, and
yes, they are,
and they
and humble.
Yes,
for as talented as they all are, they are so humble.
Yep, and they're all excited to come, and they they have a good time. We enjoy their music. I have a front row seat. I have a front row seat where my booth is.
Yep.
So,
that's right.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy having them coming, and I am so grateful to have such talent. Coming.
And you're right. And I don't know, why does it make a difference that people are playing music while you shop, and it just makes it so much more, alive and just a fun atmosphere to be able to be outdoors and to shop and socialize.
Yep. Yeah. And adding that live music to an outdoor event just for some reason, it just makes it
perfect.
And it's free admission, it's free parking, you get free concert.
Exactly. If nothing else, just come for the music.
Just come for the music and come for the food, kind of wander the booths.
Bring your dog. I brought Marley.
Bring dogs. Yes, dogs are welcome.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Marley got to come. Well, I didn't make it last year, but the year before, Marley got to come. She was quite social.
Yep. So, yes, it is absolutely a dog-friendly event as well.
We love this. And bring the kids because there will be kids activities. So what did you, what all did you do with the kids? Was it just the scavenger hunt or did you do, that's a fall festival where you have all kind of crazy stuff
Yeah, there's
going on.
other stuff at the fall festival. Yes, we just did the scavenger hunt in June, and it was such a huge hit. They decided to do it at the fall festival too.
Oh,
so the fall festival had kids zooming all over the place, the bigger ones. So they were all zooming out. They had a blast. They had an absolute blast.
I want to play
both June and the fall both June and October. So that is now a staple event for the kids.
Love it.
Because it makes total sense because the kids, kind of get drugged to these things too. With
I know, against their will most of the time.
Most of the time against their will. So why not give them something
fun to do,
and it gives them, for the older ones, gives them the freedom to go through, the vendor spaces. Mom knows where they are. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
So they can kind of have a little bit of that freedom. They've put the phone and the Game Boy and whatever else down, and they're doing something. They're outside breathing fresh air, and they're doing something fun.
Exactly. They're moving their butts. It's great.
Yes. Yes. And they love to find stuff. So
heck yeah.
And then like I said, they get a goodie bag. Last year's theme was bugs, and so they got a little goodie bag with all sorts of bug things in them.
Love that.
So stickers, tattoos, little bug rings, and what have you. It's just something fun.
Sure. So I was thinking about what I lost my train of thought. I never do that. It's cold.
I have a different
my brain is cold. I'm just old. That is true. So let's talk for a minute about did you have pictures of some of the vendors? I know you sent us
there was
photos.
A vendor post that I had. Yeah, that was like my most recent post on both Facebook. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Under, I assume, Racoon Creek Market.
Racoon Creek Market with both. Only because I am just not technologically advanced in order to do live videos on both Facebook and Instagram at the same time. I
don't think Instagram really likes you doing that. They're weird.
I don't know. But there are live videos from last year's market and the first year's market on Facebook only. So you can go back and you can see, I do like a quick run through when we open. I've got the musicians playing and what have you, so you can kind of get a feel for what goes on.
Heck
and then
yeah.
our most popular posts, it's crazy, but our most popular posts, and I'll post it again when it gets closer, probably around May, are all the pictures of the buildings there at the park. That one's like the second most popular, and then the most popular one is the pictures of the inside of the museum. That one just totally everybody, and there are so many people like, I had no idea all that stuff was there. So
when I said I lost my train of thought, that's what I was going to say, is that while you're out there as a family and with the kids and whatever, they can see the furnace, they can see the museum, they can learn some history too, and it's a perfect opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, because you're having a fun time shopping, but you're also seeing, something that is insane that we have that's one of 3 in the
Three in
U.S.
the
or
United
something like
States, yes.
that left. Like,
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
this is right here in Jackson, Ohio. It's crazy.
It is, and it was rebuilt in the 1970s. They had the story goes that back in the 70s they had to demolish all the buildings in order to rebuild them. But they had to stop for months because thousands of copperheads went everywhere.
Oh, heck no.
So they had to stop.
No, thank you.
Wait for all of that to clear out, and then then get it all rebuilt. But I mean, you would never know, even though 70s was 50 years ago only.
Gosh, can you believe that?
I was alive then.
Oh no, I know. Same.
So yes, so it is. So it's fantastic, and it's.
Wait, are we copperhead free now? I hope.
Yeah, we're not going to find any. There's going to be way too many people for them to be
I
out
would say
and about.
Jan would take care of that real quick if she saw that.
Yes, no, we're good on that now, but yeah, it is. It's fantastic, and it's literally in my backyard. I just live 2 miles away.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So to have something that historic, not only in our area, but in my backyard,
sure,
is pretty cool.
And it's just like one of those things that, again, it's like when we talk about Hocking Hills and we talk about some of the natural beauty that we have in our area, we all take it for granted because, well, it's always going to be there. And,
right.
We know it's there and we've seen it and whatever, but you need to make that trip out there to see this and to take the kids and whatever, because it is so cool.
It is very cool. I know they get a lot of homeschoolers. Those kids come in. I don't think it happened last year, but the year before they had some school buses bring in some 6th graders.
Well, we had the governor bring his family down to visit Buckeye Furnace. Like, that's wild.
Yeah. So
super cool stuff.
Yep. So yeah, there's people who travel. They're coming to visit people who, family here, and they make a point of coming. But I mean, there's people from. There's a sign-in book, and you can write where you're from.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're from, all sorts of neighboring states.
Love that.
And from faraway places, people.
Sure.
People come to see it. So yeah, we have furnaces all over the area, but this is the only one that's been rebuilt true to
that looks like what it did back then.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
And the museum is fantastic. They even have cannonballs that belong to John Morgan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, they fell off his wagon. A dog. Somebody brought in a cannonball, and he's like, "I think you all know what this is," and he's like, "My dog dug it up."
That's funny.
So yeah, on his way from Berlin Crossroads to Wilkesville.
Okay.
Yep.
That was a whole interesting endeavor.
So there's a whole history with that. There's the cemetery that's up the hill. There's leftover. They've been starting to dig out. There's the foundation for a church, and I think the school that was there.
Wild. You can see all of this.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can get up to the church and
it's free
and the school right now, but you definitely can go into all the buildings. And there's a gravel drive that if you can walk up the hill, there's the buildings that are up there as well. You can walk up to the top part of the blast furnace.
See?
So
you can see all of it.
It is super cool, and it's so beautiful. My husband and I actually got married there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
They offer weddings, so you can get married up there too.
There you go.
Maybe not on market day, but
maybe not during. Well, I mean, hey, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things.
You could be married by Ben Davis Jr.
Oh, is he? Is he a preacher too?
I do believe he has been ordained. I don't know. If not, he should be. Because it seems like something Ben Davis Jr. would do.
Yeah. He definitely has like that voice for it.
Yeah.
And he could sing at your wedding too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could sing happy, wedding day stuff. I will text him a little bit, tell him we've come up with a whole nother business plan for him.
Oh, yeah. But no, we are very excited for this year's market. And if we already have enough vendor, oh my goodness, excuse me, vendor applications that are like just as many we had around 28 vendors last year.
Okay, I was wondering about how many.
5 more than we had our first year. So each year we're growing just a little bit more,
Sure.
but we have enough applications equaled to the amount of vendors that we had last year, and we still have.
And you just put out the...
We still have like 4 more months for applications.
So here's the thing. Where would you cut that off? Like how many vendors would you... Sky's the limit?
Just about.
There's a lot of land out there, so...
There is, because it's not only just around the parking lot, but the way we have it set up versus the fall festival, we have this. My husband got them from work. These massive, they are 6x6 pallets, 6 foot by 6 foot pallets. He brings them, so that's our stage. So it's much smaller than the big trailer that they have for the fall festival.
Yes.
So we can expand. I mean, I bet you we could easily put in 75 vendors.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do it.
And I'd love to see that.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I would love to see that.
That would be so fun.
Yes,
not that it's not fun as it is, but I mean, the more the merrier, right?
The more the merrier. Absolutely. And Southeast Ohio has such amazing talent.
Oh.
With
you have no idea. Yeah.
With handcrafted and
such creativity.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And all the repurposing and the vintage and what have you. So yeah. So
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Give me like 3 things that you've seen at the market that you're like just really stuck out to you. That you were like, that is so stinking cool.
There's a gal, Rustic Grace. She is up towards Chillicothe, Logan area. She repurposes vintage stuff, and she had Rustic Grace Goods. She's got some really fabulous things. Heather from Hadbins, she does denim. Your old jeans. She repurposes old jeans.
I've seen some of that. That is really neat.
Yes, she's got some good stuff.
And she makes like bags and stuff and they're so, I mean, it's jeans, so it's like sturdy.
Right. Oh gosh, how to pick them all out. I mean, they were all fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
They're all fantastic. My soap and lotion girls. I'm a big fan of the goat milk lotion and goat milk soap.
Yep.
Our sourdough bread.
Oh, the sourdough bread. We'll need to bring examples when you come back in the spring.
I will try. Yes, I can hit Casey. I'll hit Casey up for some samples. I'll bring samples. I know we've got a bath bomb girl. She comes all the way from
cool.
Marietta area. She comes out from over there. She's coming again this year with her bath bombs. She's our only bath bomb girl.
Love that.
Gosh, who else?
But
they're all fantastic. I can't.
And they're also different, which is what's so fun.
Yes. Oh, Marietta Henna's come in this year.
Oh, good.
She wasn't able to come last year, so we'll have Henna tattoos again.
She did a cute one on me that year. Yes. It was really fun.
We have a couple. We have a wood burning. We have 2 wood burning girls coming. One she makes rag rugs.
Oh.
So those are very cool. That's a lot of work involved with those. I mean, everybody just works hard with what they what they come up with.
And
Plants,
again, they're
I mean,
also creative.
yes, if you can, my indoor plant girl, she repurposes. She does a lot of repurposing for her containers. Nikki, she's up in Chillicothe. Amy, she comes out from like the Frankfurt area. She has outdoor plants. They're all gorgeous. So if you can keep plants alive.
There you go.
I'm not so outdoor plants good, but indoor plants.
I know. I don't have enough sunlight in my house.
I don't have a good place for it either.
Yeah. Well, very good. So we've been blabbing probably too long, but we're happy to have you here, and it's always fun catching up.
Yep. Nope. I'm glad to come. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. And make sure that if you have anything that you would like to sell that you make or repurpose, get hold of the Racoon Creek Market. And it is an absolutely fun day out of Buckeye Furnace, and it will be June
14th.
June 14th, and the hours are
10 to 4.
Okay, 10 to 4. All right, that's a Saturday.
Correct.
Okay. So there you go.
Yep, buckeyefurnace.org, and you can go to Racoon Creek Market, and either you can look down that page to vendors and you can click here, or there's actually a tab for the application as well.
Okay. Very good. Well,
So,
Rachel, thank you for
thank you
hanging
for
out with
having
us.
me.
Of course.
I appreciate you
anytime.
being here.
Just come back and chat anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
We'll get ourselves in all kind of trouble. All right. And we do have a message from one of our friends, and we will be back after that.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also our new community champion, especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back, and we are going to find out. Let's text Ben Davis Jr. and find out if he's ordained. Hey, are you? He's going to be like, why are you asking me this?
Actually, I can message him too.
All right, I just sent Ben Davis a message. We'll find out.
You mean to tell me I can get married by Ben Davis Jr.?
I don't know. If not, we're going to make him ordained because I think it's just something he should do.
You see, I walked in here and I thought you guys were talking, and I thought you guys were saying if we went to Buckeye Furnace, we would marry Ben Davis Jr.
Well, I think someone already beat you
I'm
to the
about
punch.
to say, I think someone beat me to the punch on that one.
Yeah, considering he now has a wife and a new baby. But so welcome. And this is, if you don't know our friend Hayden Milliken, thank you. You definitely have heard his voice here on the radio. And I think that if you don't know Hayden and you see Hayden and how young you are, many folks are surprised that voice comes out of such a young fella.
Well, talking about a face and a voice for radio. I mean, and that people watching on TV, they can see firsthand.
Crazy.
Crazy, but sometimes it's true, right? They say there's some crazy people, they're also the most brilliant.
There you go. You just teeter the line, right?
Yeah.
We no, it was so funny. I was talking about you the other day because one of the guys that works in the kitchen just moved into the area.
Really?
And he's like, who is the guy that does like Sundays and whatever? He's like, when I'm driving home, I hear, his voice. And I was like, oh, I know, I'm sure you're talking about Hayden. And I was like, oh, and what do you think he looks like? And he's like, oh, he's probably like 60. And, and I was like,
I ain't 60.
And he was like, what?
Trust me, I ain't 60 yet. I've got a good 40 years. Don't make me that far ahead, please.
We can't make you do. Oh, well, he has answered me.
Is he ordained?
I'm not, but I wouldn't mind getting that way.
Okay, so he is willing to get ordained. So if you go to the Racoon Creek Market, I guess you can get ordained, and I guess he can marry you, not get ordained. You can get married by Ben Davis Jr. That actually sounds like a fun time. And while we're at it, Andy, if you're out there watching, get ordained too, won't you?
I
Give
said
people some options.
I told him we have volunteered him here on the morning show.
But no, I'm glad to be on here this morning. It's been about a year since I've been on here. If you remember the last time I was on here, thanks to a certain man by the name of Dylan, I had to get my tarot cards read.
That is true. I forgot about that.
So that was the last time
that
I was on
Hank's
here.
Day out, right?
Yeah, that was the last time I was on here, well over a year ago at this point.
Very
Porterhouse, Dylan, all them in on that one.
Yep, they took him to Athens, had him his tarot cards read, and trying to hook him up with a honey.
Yeah, the things that I do for this business.
Right, exactly.
The sacrifices I'm willing to make.
So you actually stopped by to kind of talk about Pike County,
Right.
And that would be basketball, right? Because that's the season we're in right now.
Yes, so we had invited T. Fred and the Madman Mike Davis. They do Waverly and Eastern respectively. They were going to come in. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it in today due to different obligations. T. Fred, he's the broadcaster for Waverly on 100.9 WXIZ.
Okay.
And he is the junior varsity coach for Waverly boys.
Gotcha.
So when he does a boys game, he goes down, he coaches, then quickly runs up, plugs in his equipment, and does the broadcast. He does this all in one game. He really does that. He does that all in one game. I mean, this guy, I'll tell you, first and foremost about him and his work ethic when it comes to Pike County basketball. You need him somewhere, even if it's on the other side of the world, T. Fred would be there to broadcast it. I mean, that's what I'll say about
awesome.
T. Fred. And the Madman, he couldn't make it in. He's in court because he's the Pike County prosecutor.
Yeah, he kind of has this job called being the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't get to make your own hours.
No.
How's that?
And then on top of that, his partner, Rockin' Roger, who we were seeing to come in, also has another job that doesn't really fully determine your hours called police officer.
Called I'm a policeman. Yes.
So in other words, I'm not a coach. I'm not a cop. I basically have no life outside of this. So here we go. But either way, talking about all these different things. So I handle Piketon.
Yeah,
I go to do the games for Piketon, the Red Streaks. Tonight, weather pending, we have a game. And we're taking on Southeastern.
Okay.
And then, of course, on Saturday, we took on Zane Trace. We lost that one. Wanted to shout out, of course, the...
Zane Trace is really good,
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about, we're in the Side Valley Conference.
crazy
We're in the
good.
SVC with Uniota, Zane Trace, Westfall. We're in with the tough teams.
Yes,
So
for
we
sure.
have a really rough schedule normally.
Yeah.
And the girls, on the other hand, I want to mention them. They are second place in
Nice.
the SVC. That's Coach
Congrats.
Jason Taylor, Assistant Coach Tom Kelly, and also the Piketon Lady Red Streaks. They're second place. They had a game against Adena, which determined that, and then Adena lost to Huntington, which gave Piketon sole second place.
Okay.
So that's how it is right now. Piketon's in second place, only behind, of course, the powerhouse of SVC basketball, Uniota. So that's who they're just right behind.
Mhm.
And so that's what's going on over there. And as for the boys, they are, I believe, 3-12, but they take on, like I said, they take on Southeastern tonight. We had this thing called Snowpocalypse, which postponed a ton of our games. And there was just a little bit of snow, not much, just a teeny tiny bit of snow. Not much snow at all, right? Either way, we had that little thing, and
Yeah.
let's just say a little bit of snow, a little bit of ice.
Let's just say I've lived in my house for 20 some years and I've never gotten stuck in my house until this year. It was the first.
Well, I can't remember a weather other than this. I'll tell you, we were talking about snow, so if I can't remember bad weather like this. You see, when I was younger, we had really bad ice, and this was when the H1N1 hit, the bird flu or whatever they called it, and I
Yes.
had it.
Oh,
And my level 3
that was awful.
level 3 snow emergency or ice emergency on the roads, right? To get to the hospital. My family had to take me to the ER. I was that
Yeah.
sick.
That
And
messed
the
with people.
police pulled us over. Like, you can't be out on this. It's level 3. Once they saw me sick in the back of the car,
They were
escort
like,
to Holzer.
they're like, here, let me take you to
Yeah.
Holzer.
So that's kind of what we had going on. It was crazy. But we have Waverly coming up. They have a game, I believe, tomorrow. I don't think they play tonight. Eastern plays tonight. They do the away games as well. Eastern does, Mike and Raj.
Okay.
So they're traveling. If the game hasn't been canceled, I don't think it has. They're going to be traveling to South Gallia tonight to take on the Rebels.
Okay.
And talking about for Waverly, they also go on the road, and that's thanks in part to, I'll give a shout out to them, to the Boyer Funeral Home in Waverly. They are responsible for the away games being put on the broadcast schedule. And for the Eastern Eagles, that'd be in part to, as I have it here, the Eastern Athletic Boosters and Neil and Candy Leist. those people are responsible for getting the Eastern broadcast put on the air. Now, of course, I mainly handle Piketon on the boys and girls side, but I also sometimes do a few of the Eastern girls games because Mike, his daughter is a junior high cheerleader.
Oh.
So on top, of course,
cute.
one of his sons plays on the Eastern Eagles basketball team, but his youngest daughter is a cheerleader. So she takes precedence over some things.
I mean, yeah, I
and
can see
takes
that.
precedence, and I go in and I'll do some of those games for him, and also talk about different people that we have within our system. Of course, my crew. I mean, we're talking about T-Friend. There's Trey Edwards with him, a former coach over at Peebles, and so Trey Edwards, T-Dog as we call him, he's the one who does it with T-Fred and T-Dog.
Wow.
That's
a
fun,
lot
ain't
of T's,
a
man.
lot of T's, man, yeah. So, don't talk about my guys. Of course, my partners are Ryan Volgamore. He was, before me, the play-by-play guy for Piketon a few years ago. Mike Davis replaced him, and then he's back in this year with me now that his daughters and stuff, one of his oldest has graduated. And then there's Jared Volgamore, his nephew, who will do games in his place when he can't make it. Jared works over at Hernstein in Chillicothe selling cars. So that's what he does. And most of those guys, Jared was part of the Piketon basketball team that went to the Final Four in the state. That was AP ranked in like 2009, 10-ish.
Neat.
So he was part of the state championship team. And Ryan, of course, he's had his share of good teams to broadcast, mainly between Piketon and Western. I believe he did a couple broadcasts of Waverly when they made it to their state run a couple years ago. So they've got a lot going on over there. As for me, I'm pretty new to the scene over in Pike County. Of course, I come from a slightly different area, but I've taken to Pike County. You know what I'm saying? I had some ties to the place when I was younger. I'd travel around with my cousin. He was travel baseball, Pee Wee baseball, and he played for Eastern. So we would go about everywhere, Western, Waverly, Chillicothe area, I think a couple times for games. So we were all around the place, and to say I had some ties to that, some sentimental value.
There you go.
Childhood memories.
So how, being here and working at Total Media,
Right.
and I mean, you have your hand in a whole lot of things,
Yeah.
from board op to, doing the weekend news and weather, some of the things, doing some spots, and then
busy.
doing this broadcast thing. What have you found is the most challenging?
The most challenging? It depends on the situation, you know what I'm saying? I mean, everything's got its obstacles. I would honestly say it depends. Like if we have like a technical hiccup or whatever, and I'm on a remote or I'm at a game or whatever, that right there is the worst thing ever.
You got to think on the fly, and you got to fix stuff on the fly, and it is tough sometimes.
I did the Wellston Ohilco Festival about a year ago, and I did it all this year. And we had issues one day, and oh my goodness, I thought I was going to rip my hair out. I mean, we made it through it, like we were having some preliminary difficulties getting on the air before the broadcast, right? And I almost lost my mind. And of course, I got Pete, he'll be in here over in a moment. But yeah, I mean, I would say mainly it's when the technical difficulties happen.
I can see that.
And I will say, though, at the same time, I've been lucky in the sense that normally these things don't necessarily happen to me as much as they do other people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky that way. They say luck of the Irish, right?
Maybe.
Though technically I'm partially Scottish, but you get the point. So, no, talking about just being lucky, I've had plenty of luck when it comes to that. I personally speaking have not had many issues. And to say things are challenging, I'm not saying things come easy. They don't.
Sure.
But I'll say that I've gotten used to doing things, and I've basically learned to handle myself better in situations like that.
But it is all a learning curve, and as time goes on, after you've been there and done that a couple of times, this thing has happened. Now I know how to fix it. It makes life a little bit easier. But I will tell you, and you know this as well as anybody, when it comes to radio equipment or TV equipment or whatever, it could work perfectly fine for 3 years in a row, and one day you walk in and the world comes to an end, and you have no idea why. And it will be the dumbest thing ever.
We've had that happen, and I can attest to this. We have had this happen on more occasions than I would care to admit. We've had so many things just seeming like, hey, one day things are great, everything's good,
There's
everything's
nothing
working
wrong.
perfectly.
There was no power outage. There was no whatever.
Then the next day we come in, and it's not turning on, it ain't working right, whatever the case may be. Got to call Justin, got to get everything fixed. And just before that, everything was A-okay. So, I mean, this is just how things tend to fall.
It does. And these are the challenges of radio, TV. Technology is wonderful when it works, but when it doesn't, boy, it's a pain.
It's par for the course.
Yeah,
It really is. You do something like this. And talking about with us this week, I'm going to mention this as well. We got, I believe, 2 girls' games, and these are the last ones on our broadcast schedule. They hit the road and then tournament. The boys, we got a few more games left with them, too. They're going to be playing Westfall on Thursday. And they went into overtime with Westfall at Westfall. So we're hoping that one's going to be another good game. Of course, Piketon, they barely won that one, barely lost that one. Westfall got a big offensive rebound on them, 2 straight, actually. And that's what cost Piketon the game, was just the fact that Piketon couldn't defensively rebound it. So I think that if things fall better in this one, I think hopefully we can have that happen. So we'll see how that goes. Again, we're in a very tough conference. And also Waverly's in a very tough one too. The SOC3, that's Wheelersburg, South Webster, Minford, and South Webster, the name Norton Pearson don't ring a bell to you. We're talking state champion at Oak Hill.
Yeah.
So tough teams, tough coaches. So that's what we got going on over there. And I just say this, like I said, it's been about over a year. I'm glad I could come on, though, today. It's been an awful long time. You guys got to have me around more often.
I know. That's right. That's right. Well, don't be a stranger. And we thank you for spending your morning with us.
No problem. And hopefully nothing too bad's happened. Now it's Pete's turn.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, let's play a message, and we'll be back.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
All right, and we are back. And the reason we are doing your weather forecast, very, very important today to let you know that as I was driving in this morning, it was 5. We are supposed to reach close to 20 degrees today. However, what I wanted to talk to you about is that -3 overnight tonight. It is going to be the coldest overnight tonight that we've had. So please, 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 once again, we cannot stress enough to check on your friends, your neighbors, your pets, all the critters that are outside, all of this stuff, because it's so very, very important. And, just be a good human and check on people. Starting then tomorrow on Wednesday, still cold, but as you can see, maybe just a tiny, tiny bit of a warming trend. And when I say warming, I mean at least above freezing for the next several days. So Pete Wilson is here, and we are going to find out whether or not the Starbucks is coming to Jackson.
Okay.
I figured that was a story.
Okay. Just because a hot coffee sounds pretty good right now.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Okay. It appears that Starbucks is on track.
Okay.
There was an issue that had to be worked out.
Big meeting last night.
I think that everybody thought it would be, but until it happens, you don't know for sure.
Yes.
But there was a meeting of the Jackson City Board of Zoning Appeals. That's affiliated with the city.
Yes.
2 council members and 3 community members on there. And they deal with different zoning issues that come up where, a property needs a special permit, or there's a zoning issue that has to be agreed to before that project can go forward. It is a hurdle that you have to get by. A lot of times it's a routine thing, rubber stamp. Sometimes, it's more complicated than that.
Yes, correct.
On Starbucks, they were seeking through its development company. That's how the world works. Usually for these big chains, a development company pays the way and then turns the property over, leases it to the chain, in this case, Starbucks. But the development company is called the PM Company of New Vienna, West Virginia, and they do other Starbucks restaurants as well. And their representative, Jared Decker, was in town last night for what turned out to be the second zoning board meeting on this issue.
Yes.
There was one on January the 13th, the previous Monday. They had an issue that didn't get resolved, and then they basically ran out of time. So they said, let's come back next Monday, which was last night.
Same night as the national championship game.
Right, exactly. I think everybody had their watches and their phones watching the time. But as it turned out, it was about 10 minutes at the max, I think.
Oh, really?
They've
Okay.
scheduled it 6 o'clock strategically, well in advance of the 7:30 kickoff.
Yes.
They're down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But what Starbucks wanted was a conditional use permit, which really didn't have anything to do with the issue that they were trying to work out. The conditional use was for a drive-through. Almost all the restaurants, shops, food services have drive-throughs these days.
Oh, of course.
And the city has no problem with that. But they had to get the conditional use, and before the city would grant the conditional use, some of the city officials, a couple of the zoning board members for sure, and Jackson Mayor Randy Evans, who is not a member of the zoning board, had issues with the fact that the development company, I'm sure with the knowledge of Starbucks, decided that because of the configuration of the lot, because of an easement from a neighboring property that they had to work around, that the building would have to face away from the street. So the front of the building would face not towards East Main Street, State Route 93. It would be the back of the building.
Sure.
It's still Starbucks and all like that, but
just facing
but
not the way that you would think it would face.
Right. Well, the couple zoning board members and Mayor Evans felt like, well, just flip the building.
If it can go this way, why can't it go this way?
Why can't it go that way? You know, and
I think that's a fair question to ask.
Right. Well, like I said, the reasons why the development company felt that it couldn't was because of an easement, the size and configuration of the lot, and the fact of how the drive-through was going to work, where the parking was, where pedestrians would be coming from the parking into the shop, where the vehicles would be. They just felt that it would work they'd rather have it facing the front too, but they felt it just couldn't with the way that they feel their business operates with the drive-through.
Okay.
I assume they have a lot of drive-through business.
I'm guessing, considering there's a Starbucks on every corner of every town, that they've done this a time or two.
Okay. Well, before the meeting was held last night, there was a pivotal informal meeting between the mayor and Jared Decker, who is the real estate director for the PM company. And Jared presented some proposed changes on how the back of the building would look that would make it prettier, I guess you could say, more pleasing to the eye. I think the city officials still feel it could be flipped, but they're satisfied that the building will look better and it won't stick out like a sore thumb along with the other buildings that face East Main Street, which is State Route 93, a high traffic area.
I think that, they probably went toward, if you think of most restaurants, you've got trash cans out back and grease bins and all of the things that you have to have for restaurants. And if that's facing Main Street, I understand the concern about that.
Right. Well, on one side, they just felt, why can't you just flip it, period? The second issue was that they had photographs of the backside of the Circleville Starbucks, which I guess didn't look all that attractive. There's a ladder hanging on the back of the building. There's garbage cans back there. There's even trash outside the garbage cans. We don't want, this to face East Main Street, and why can't you just flip it?
Turn it around.
And there's not an issue. Well, there never was a resolution on that, but this was middle ground that was reached.
Okay.
What Starbucks is going to do, or what the development company is going to do on behalf of Starbucks, there's going to be some extra metal siding on the back. There's a door on the back that they're going to paint so it'll be more decorative. There's going to be the Starbucks logo and the Starbucks sign on the back as well.
Okay.
And they're going to do probably some landscaping, hedges, flowers, or whatnot. So they think that it will be something that will be very pleasing to the eye. During the meeting, the zoning board turned it over to Mayor Evans because the zoning board did want Mayor Evans to try to work it out with the development company ahead of this meeting. So, they would have something to talk about that's different than the last meeting.
Than a standoff, yeah.
Right. And so Randy Evans said that even though they did not back off the facing of the building, they did come up with some extra cosmetic changes that will make the building more attractive, pleasing to the eye, aesthetics and all like that. And so he said that he would be in favor of granting the conditional use. Zoning board members asked a question or two. but they seemed ready to pull the trigger on approval as well.
Where did this land come from? Who did they buy land from somebody?
The development company bought the land from the Jackson CIC. That's short
Okay.
for Community Improvement Corporation. The CIC many
Same
years
as like
ago,
Casa Grande and
owned all that land where the former Meridian plant used to be, where the new Her Foods plant used to be, because they were in the business of economic development. Before we had an economic development office, they had this land, and all the land there in front where Casa Grande is, also where the Starbucks is going to be, was owned by the CIC. The CIC has since sold it to hers, the back part, but they still own the front part. They sold some to the company that owns Casa Grande, which may build some other restaurants there or bakeries there. That was talked about as something down the line after Casa Grande. But they also own this lot, which would be to the east on 93.
I just wondered where the land came from.
It's not part of McCarty Crossing. It's just by it, though. Okay, so when is Starbucks going to come? Of course, they have to go through permitting processes and so forth. But when I asked that question after the meeting, one of the representatives who was with Mr. Decker said that they would like to start construction in mid-March, and that it typically takes about 6 months to complete the building, and then whatever time span there is to equip and move in, hire employees and all like that. I'm sure Starbucks is one of the biggest food companies in the world. They're in 80 countries. They have thousands of outlets. My guess is that they have a plan that is seamless.
I'd say they're pretty slick when it comes
to how they want to do things.
Opening things.
So project out, I'm guessing, if it's really going to take 6 months, Starbucks will be completed late September,
Apple Festival-ish time.
And then whatever about the time that you need, hot coffee, because there's a frost on the pumpkin.
Yes.
So that's the latest on Starbucks. And did we put that picture up, Jimmy? Go ahead and put that up. This is what the back of the building will look at. That you're looking facing the back of the building. Some of that siding on the building is something that they would not have. That door there that you see is going to be painted a more colorful color. And then, of course, I don't know whether they normally have some signage on the back or not, or that logo, but they are going with this.
Okay.
As you can see right there. As you look to the right side, that is another side of the building. You can see where the drive-through is going to be on that side. I guess that would be the east side of the building there. So we'll have a more detailed report in our Wednesday edition. We'll have that online as well.
Okay.
So quickly going over some other things. You talked about how cold it's going to be. Reminder that the Life Source Apostolic Church on Driving Park Road in Wellston is open as an overnight warming shelter, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., and they're going to continue to be open, at least their plans are now, through Saturday morning. Also, warming shelter is at the MacArthur Fireman's Hall on High Street in MacArthur. They opened that on Sunday evening, and it will be open at least through 9 a.m. Thursday. That they looked at the same weather forecast that we just looked at, saw that it was going to moderate a little bit, but that is a 24-hour warming center.
All day long.
Right, and I know I've not talked to them or had communication with them since they announced their plans, but they did say that they needed volunteers and donations. It's one thing to have a good idea to help people, but you've got to have the stuff to be able to do it. That's manpower and that's donation. So, if you can go online, the hashtag is warming shelter at community support. Stay safe through the United Way of Vinton County. You can check and see the latest on that about how it's operating and what they need. But my guess is, particularly if we have some folks who lose their power or just their heating sources are inadequate, they're going to need a place to go.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of Vinton County, some very good news came out at last week's commissioners meeting. The contracts were awarded by the Jackson County Water Company, or they were announced anyway by the Jackson County Water Company for the big Garrett Ridge Water Line project.
Finally, yay!
That is sitting on the left there. We all know him in Jackson County. That's Larry Foster, the general manager of Jackson County Water. they're going to be doing the work. They've done a lot of water line service projects in Jackson and Vinton counties. They are talking to two of the new commissioners, by the way, so it's good to show this picture.
Yeah.
That's Jeffrey Harper III on the left and Kevin Kozad there sitting to the right. And Larry is announcing that contracts were awarded to two different companies to start this project. Don't have a timetable when construction could start. Obviously, you know, some weather could be involved, but this is a project I know we've talked about in the past, but just imagine, you know, we turn on the faucet and we take for granted that clean water coming out. You know, that's been treated and we know it's safe. In the Garrett Ridge area, which is an elevated area in western Vinton County, they don't have that. You know, they have to haul water or go to a water vending station.
It's just unbelievable in my mind that that's still a thing.
Well, two things. You know, just humanity.
Yeah.
You know, for those people who live out there, and think about what it might do for development.
Sure.
Just even if it's just houses. You know, people that live out there or like that area or whatever. You don't have that obstacle about water service to deal with. You know, there might be wells that you can dig out there, but a lot of them are questionable whether they would be totally safe.
Yep.
Plus, it's a lot of work. Okay, another building project we want to mention real quick. I haven't had a chance to mention this. The Jackson County Commissioners recently announced that they had granted or awarded a contract to Brenner's Restoration of Wellston, and it is to do the renovation project at the former Jackson County Health Department building. I got to call it that so we know what we're talking about. But right now, the health department, of course, moved to a bigger facility on Twin Oaks Drive across from Holzer Medical Center. And that opened up the entire first floor of that building, and that is where the county commissioners are going to move. That's at 200 East Main Street at the corner of Main and Portsmouth Street. And that award was for $329,000 to do a major renovation and convert that to how the commissioners need to use it. But when that is done, probably midsummer, the commissioners soon after that will move in there and they'll have their own place. Right now, they're in the Job and Family Service building, a little bit away from, you know, the downtown.
Right.
And this will put them right between the sheriff's office, the municipal court, and the courthouse. So much more positioning, much better positioning.
Convenient for
them.
everyone.
So, was there anything else I needed to tell you real quick? I don't think so. We'll have some more things to report tomorrow. I don't have the details on this, but we know there have been a couple of fires lately. They're very destructive. We think, we've not had it confirmed yet, that a semi or a semi-trailer caught fire out on 35 late last night.
Okay.
We've learned about it, we've seen it, and we're trying to get the details on that. I don't know whether there were any injuries involved or what the deal was, but it was seen, and we're checking, we think, with the Colton Fire Department. Also, a structure fire out on Limerick Road, just off the Beaver Pike the night before. And this is a danger whenever the temperatures go down like they are. You know, it puts extra pressure on the heating. People use space heaters. There might be a power problem, fireplace, whatever. I can tell you just from years of experience, it's not unusual to hear about more fires. And then think about those firefighters. Many of them volunteers out there fighting in 0-degree weather, trying to get the water to work.
To get the water to not freeze and all that.
Do you know what it's like to have, I know you don't know, I don't know either, but can you imagine to have that fire gear on, that heavy fire gear, and it's wet on top of that, and it freezes on you while you're fighting a fire?
No, I cannot imagine.
Okay, well,
Thank goodness
tip
for
your
them.
hat to the firefighters.
Yes, absolutely, and all of our first responders, for that matter. All right, well, Pete, thank you so much for stopping by today, and it's been a lot of fun here. So we'll be back with more news tomorrow, and here's the thing. Don't forget, stay warm, check on your pets, check on your friends and your neighbors, and make sure that everybody has a warm place to go. So we will see you right back here tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.